I see a picture of a horse just like Chestnut in a book.
Can you bring everything you see? Develop this talent, you can easily go on to college.
What would I do at college?
Well, with your mind, anything you wanted to. Temple. Think of
Oh, very nice to meet you. Are you a scientist? It opens to another world.
Think of it as a door.
I think I'll start out and just talk a little bit about what exactly autism is. Autism is a very big continuum. All the way up to brilliant scientists and engineers, and I actually feel at home here because there's a lot of autism genetics here. You wouldn't have any, it's a continuum of traits. When does a nerd turn into, Asperger, which is just mild autism? I mean, Einstein and Mozart and Tesla would all be probably diagnosed as autistic spectrum today. And one of the things that really is going to concern me is getting these kids to be the ones that are going to invent the next energy things, that Bill Gates talked about this morning. I'm really concerned that a lot of the schools have taken out the hands-on classes because art and classes like that, those were the classes where I excelled. Just thinking in pictures. It's literally movies in your head. in your head. They flash up into my memory just like Google for pictures. And in the movie, they've got a great scene in
Ne. Engedj.
mich hörst. Ich liebe dich und ich brauche dich. Bitte, komm zu mir zurück, Sam, bitte. Ich liebe dich.
And in the movie, they've got a great scene in there where the word shoe is said and a whole bunch of 50s and 60s shoes pop into my imagination.
All the shoes I've worn, and my mother's, and other people I've met. And you have 3 pairs. One is in
Pop into my imagination. Okay, there's my childhood church, that's specific. There's some more, Fort Collins. Okay, how about famous ones? And they just kind of come up kind of like this, just really quickly, like Google for pictures. And they come up one at a time. research now is showing that people on the spectrum actually think with primary visual cortex. Now, the thing is, the visual thinker is just one kind of mind. You see, the autistic mind tends to be a specialist mind, good at one thing, bad at something else. And where I was bad was algebra. And I was never allowed to take geometry or trig. Gigantic mistake. I'm finding a lot of kids that need to skip algebra, go right to geometry and trig. Now, another kind of mind is the pattern thinker, more abstract. These are your engineers, your computer programmers. Now, this is pattern thinking. That praying mantis is made from a single sheet of paper. No Scotch tape, no cuts, and there in the background is the pattern for folding it. Here are the types of thinking. Photorealistic visual thinkers like me. Pattern thinkers, music and math minds.
Nem, de igaz, ugye mesélhetnék. Szia, mi újság?
Kösz, remekül.
Szóval, ha...
Ne haragudj, mit is mondtál, mire jártatok együtt?
Történelemre.
Történelemre.
Igen.
Csak simán törire. Nyilván világtörténelmet hallgattál.
Így van, világtörténelem.
Értem.
Érdemes kipróbálni, jó kis kurzus, egész jó kis kurzus.
Szóval neked tetszett?
Hát nézd, azt hiszem, itt lehetek őszinte. A színvonal eléggé alacsony.
Alacsony.
Aha.
Ebben nem kételkedem.
Na ugye.
Mert tudod, most már emlékszem erre a kurzusra.
Na ugye.
Ha nem maradt el, az uzsonna szünetben tartották.
Márk, húzzál el, légy szíves, a francba.
Te meg higgadj le.
Majd, ha elhúztál innen.
Csak beszélgetek az újdonsült barátommal.
Netem most lesz egy kis gond, vagy mi?
Nem, dehogy nincs. Sőt, érdekelne a véleményed. Szerinted hogyan fejlődött a déli államok piacgazdasága a 18. században? Én úgy látom ugyanis, hogy a függetlenségi háborút megelőző időszakban a gazdasági modell, különösképpen a déli gyarmatok esetében igazán adekvát formában az agrárius prekapitalista szerkezetben...
Várj egy kicsit, ide hallgass!
Érthető, hogy ez a véleményed, hisz elsősként még csak marxizáló történészeket olvashattál, Pete Garrison például. Hiszel is neki, amíg jövőre meg nem ismered James Lemont, mert akkor azt állítod majd, hogy 1740-ben Virginia és Pennsylvania gazdasága vállalkozói kapitalista volt. De ez se tart soká, mert aztán visszaköhögött Gordon Wood nézetei, aki szerint ebben az időszakban a katonai mozgósítás közvetlen hatással van a tőkeképződésre.
Ebben nem lennék olyan biztos, ugyanis Wood alábecsüli a vagyont, főként az öröklött
Wood
vagyon
alábecsüli.
hatását.
Igen, Wood alábecsüli a vagyont, főként az öröklött vagyon hatását a társadalmi különbségek kialakulására. Szép idézet Vickerstől. A munka Essex megyében, 98. oldal. Olvastam én is. Föl akarod mondani az egész könyvet, vagy akadnak néha önálló gondolataid is? Vagy ez a módszered, hogy besétálsz ide, és önálló gondolatként adod elő a korábban olvasottakat? Azért, hogy befűzd a lányokat, és piszkáld a barátomat? Sajnállak, mert úgy 50 év múlva lesz egy önálló gondolatod. Rájössz, hogy két bizonyosság létezik az életben. 1. Ne vedd készpénznek mások gondolatait. 2. 150 000 költöttél olyan műveltséganyag megszerzésére, amit $1,5 megkapsz egy könyvtárban.
Lehetséges, de lesz diplomám. Te viszont sült krumplit szolgálsz majd fel a gyerekeimnek egy autós büfében.
Ez elképzelhető. De nálad akkor is eredetibb leszek.
Your son is a genius. The school is too small for him and doesn't have enough good teachers for training him. Please, teach him yourself.
Sorry. What do you do? Sorry. That's people's work. You can't graffiti here. Don't you walk away from me.
Hey, fuck you!
Oh, you're a clever one. What's your name?
Your son is mentally ill. We cannot teach him at our school together with other children. That is why we recommend teaching him yourself at home.
Thomas Alva Edison was a mentally ill child that by a hero mother became the genius of the century.
Mr. Carlock's science class, he was now Dr. Carlock in the movie, and he got me challenged to figure out an optical illusion room. This brings up the whole thing of you got to show kids interesting stuff. You know, one of the things that I think maybe TED ought to do is tell all the schools about all the great lectures that are on TED. And there's all kinds of great stuff on the internet to get these kids turned on. Because I'm seeing a lot of these geeky, nerdy kids, and the teachers out in the Midwest and other parts of the country, when you get away from these tech areas, they don't know what to do with these kids. And they're not going down the right path. In order to motivate that kid, that's one of the things we need to do. And really get fed up when the teachers, especially when you get away from this part of the country, they don't know what to do with these smart kids. It just drives me crazy. What can visual thinkers do when they grow up? They can do graphic design, all kinds of stuff with computers, photography, industrial design. The pattern thinkers, they're the ones that are going to be your mathematicians, your software engineers, your computer programmers, all of those kinds of jobs. And then you've got the word minds. They make great journalists, and they also make really, really good stage actors. Because the thing about being autistic is I had to learn social skills like being in a play. You just have to learn it. And we need to be working with these students, and this brings up mentors. You know, my science teacher was not an accredited teacher. He was a NASA space scientist. Now, some states now are getting it to where if you have a degree in biology or a degree in chemistry, you can come into the school and teach, biology or chemistry. We need to be doing that. Because what I'm observing is the good teachers for a lot of these kids are out in the community colleges. But we need to be getting some of these good teachers into the high schools. Another thing that can be very, very, very successful is there's a lot of people that may have retired from, working in the software industry. And they can teach a kid, and it doesn't matter if what they teach them is old. Because what you're doing is you're lighting the spark. You're getting that kid turned on. And you get them turned on, then you'll learn all the new stuff. Mentors are just essential. I cannot emphasize enough what my science teacher did for me. And we've got to mentor them, hire them. And if you bring them in for internships in your companies, the thing about the autism, Asperger kind of mind, you got to give them a specific task. Don't just say design new software. You got to tell them something a lot more specific. Well, we're designing software for a phone, and it has to do some specific thing, and it can only use so much memory. That's the kind of specificity you need. Well, that's the end of my talk, and I just want to thank everybody for coming. It was great to be here. Okay. Oh, you have a question for me?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. You once wrote, I like this quote, "If by some magic autism had been eradicated from the face of the earth, then men would still be socializing in front of a wood fire at the entrance to a cave."
Because who do you think made the first stone spear? It was the Asperger guy, and if you were to get rid of all the autism genetics, there'd be no more Silicon Valley, and the energy crisis would not be solved.
So I want to ask you a couple other questions, and if any of these feel inappropriate, it's okay just to say next question. But if there's someone here who has an autistic child or knows an autistic child and feels kind of cut off from them, what advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, we got to look at age. If you have a 2-, 3-, or 4-year-old, no speech, no social interaction, I can't emphasize enough, don't wait. You need at least 20 hours a week of one-to-one teaching. The thing is, autism comes in different degrees. There's going to be about half the people on the spectrum that are not going to learn to talk, and they're not going to be working in Silicon Valley. That would That would not be a reasonable thing for them to do. But then you got these smart, geeky kids, you know, the touch of autism, and that's where you've got to get them turned on with doing interesting things. I got social interaction through shared interests. I rode horses with other kids, I made model rockets with other kids, did electronics lab, you know, with other kids. And in the 60s, it was gluing mirrors onto rubber membrane on speaker to make a light show. That was like, we consider that super cool.
Is it unrealistic for them to hope or think that that child loves them, as some might most wish?
Well, let me tell you, that child will be loyal, and if your house is burning down, they're going to get you out of it.
Wow. So most people, if you ask them what are they most passionate about, they'd say things like, my kids, or my lover, or... What are you most passionate about?
I'm passionate about that the things I do are going to make the world a better place. When I have a mother of an autistic child say, my kid went to college because of your book or one of your lectures, that makes me happy. You know, the slaughter plants, I've worked with them in the 80s. They were absolutely awful. I developed a really simple scoring system for slaughter plants where you just measure outcomes. How many cattle fell down, how many cattle got poked with the prodder, how many cattle are mooing their heads off. And it's very, very simple. You directly observe a few simple things. It's worked really well. I get satisfaction out of seeing stuff that makes real change in the real world. We need a lot more of that and a lot less abstract stuff.
When we were talking on the phone, one of the things you said that really astonished me was, you said one thing you were passionate about was server farms. Tell me about that.
Well, the reason why I got really excited and I read about that, it contains knowledge. It's libraries. And to me, knowledge is something that is extremely valuable. So maybe over 10 years ago now, our library got flooded, and this is before the internet got really big, and I was really upset about all the books being wrecked because it was knowledge being destroyed. And server farms or data centers are great libraries of knowledge.
Temple, can I just say it's an absolute delight to have you at TED.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you.